Welcome. Are you able to hear me?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So, how are you all doing today? How was the experience of the mind sweep? Oh my. Uh, uh, hmm. Wow. So, अभी आगे क्या? What do you intend to realize? Good, good, good. Very good. So, no, but really, I would like to congratulate you that you are becoming aware. I keep repeating in all my programs that the first step to change is awareness. एटलीस्ट अभी आपको पता है कि अच्छा क्या क्या हो रहा है, क्या क्या आपको करेक्टिव एक्शन लेना है. नहीं तो there are a lot of times that we don't even know that what changes are required. We are going on in that same drill, in that same mindset without making any changes because we are not aware what changes are needed. So good, at least you are now able to identify what are the changes you want to make. Good. Yes, so who would like to share their experience of doing the mind sweep?
So the experience was awesome because I thought I had much more in my mind than on paper. And honestly, I got good sleep last night after writing it.
Amazing. Good, good, good. Imagine what it would be like if you get this kind of a good sleep every day.
So, but I'm very curious, how will I sort this mess? Because
we will do that. We will do that. We'll do that. And you are right. Right now, it looks like a mess because it's like too many things, unorganized, and everything in one place. It's like a dump. I mean, we will move on to that to see how we can. Wow. The principles are going to be the same. The SMS is a capture tool, and all the dump is there. Whether it's SMS, WhatsApp, email inbox, सबका अलग अलग black hole है. Everyone has a different black hole where things are just lying there and not being cleaned up. So become aware that this is a capture tool only, and now we'll see what to do with it. Yeah,
Sir, there is one problem which I'm having. I'm unable to clear my start messages. So वो भी कैप्चर होके रह जाता है, तो उसको कहाँ कैप्चर माने? Where do we dump that?
We'll see that. We will see that. Yes. Just remind me to ask this question again at the end of today. Okay, in case it's not answered. We'll talk about it today.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. All right. So you can just type in the chat box how many items do you have in your mind sweep in total, including what we did in 7 minutes yesterday and your homework. And how did it go for you? Roughly, even if you have not counted, roughly how many you think? Around 40, yeah. Okay. $95. Didn't able to sleep. Oh, ये देखो. Here, one person is sharing that we got a wonderful sleep, and the other person is sharing that wasn't able to sleep. I told you yesterday, grief and relief, दोनों का experience होता है इसमें. 233, my God. Wow. अच्छा. हाँ हाँ हाँ. क्या कर सकता हूँ? हाँ ना, वो एक साल पहले का would be relevant to the things that were at that time. Things have moved on, so I would recommend do it fresh all over again. Even if you repeat things from what were already there in that 1 year back, do it all over again.
सर उसमें तो मैंने भी
Right.
सेम एक्सरसाइज किया बट काफी आइटम्स उसमें टाइम बार्ड ही हो गए.
टाइम बार्ड हो चुके होंगे.
टाइम
Yeah,
बार्ड
could be.
या वो अपने आप हो गए या फिर हम उनको करना नहीं चाहते.
Correct. Very, very true. Sometimes it happens that what was relevant and maybe most important at that time, priorities have shifted, life has taken its own course, and you may realize that they don't matter anymore. So 1 year is a huge gap. Okay. We will see how often we should do this also going forward. But if you have done it 1 year back, then please don't rely on that. Do it afresh. Do it as if you have not done it before. All right. So let's take it forward from when we stopped yesterday, and quick check on also what changed in your capture tools. Here what we had said, capture tools future. I'd asked you to do also this as a homework. So what changes are you making over here now? Consciously, based on the video that we saw last time, the best practices, what changes are you making? You can type in the chat box or you can just unmute and share. What is that key change, that key shifts that you are adding or changing or modifying or deleting in your capture tool system? Yeah, Dr. Jayesh?
Yes, sir. So I will restrict the capture tools now. I will only use personal mail, professional mail, and home and office. I'll instead of home and office, I'll keep one notepad with me.
Don't use home and office as capture tool.
Sorry, sir.
Don't use home and office as capture tool. Don't use, I'm telling you.
Yes, sir. Not to use. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And in my phone, I will keep as an inbox folder I have kept in OneNote. So that I'll save there, and computer also as and when required. Otherwise, not computer. Only phone is the one which is easily accessible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Great.
That's all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. From 25 in the past, I want to go to only 5. Okay. So gradually narrow it down.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. How many capture tools would be ideal? How many capture tools should you have?
2 to 3 in number.
2 to 3. Okay. Any other thoughts? Clear it all for future. Organize it, whatever is required. Okay. Digital images using phone. Okay. Least that I can clear in a week. Yeah. Adding portable notepad. Adding notepad on my phone home screen. Okay. Cleaning up handbag, laptop bag periodically. Okay. One thing I suggest, do not, ideally you shouldn't have to clean the handbag and the laptop bag periodically if you just carry that separate folder. So you follow the discipline, nothing goes randomly in the bag or the wallet or the purse. Anything that you capture, even if you're in a networking meet and you're capturing visiting cards, even if somebody is giving you a lunch bill, hotel mein bill, anything, whatever you're capturing, a toll naka receipt, whatever it may be, it goes in that travel in folder. So one thing I would recommend for all of you is at least have that, add that as a portable in tray or folder. This is the one which you are seeing here on the screen, which I'm ticking. Add this as a capture tool. So that whenever you are outside, you know that things go only there and nowhere else. Yeah, cleaning up inbox, both personal and professional. Yeah. So how many capture tools? There is no ideal number as such. because one size does not fit all. I cannot say that everyone should have only 2 to 3. Yes, as few as possible and as many as you need.
So,
As few as
so
possible, as many as you need. Yeah.
so can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
So portable in tray, sir, someone said to me to organize this thing in a portable tray, जैसा आपने बताया.
हाँ.
मैंने ट्राई किया था तो लेकिन उसमें मतलब जैसे आपके वीडियो में दिखाया पूरे बंडल्स बन गए थे, तो मैंने वो पोर्टेबल ट्रे इनफैक्ट हटा दिया.
हाँ,
तो अब वो डेली जो है, अगर डेली मेरे टेबल में कोई पेपर रहता है तो डेली कहीं ना कहीं वो फोल्डर या वो बिन में चला जाता है, मतलब डेली हो जाता है, मतलब लेकिन वो ट्रे रहने से वो पाइल अप हो रहा था.
नहीं, तो that is what the next step is going to be. When we go to clarify and organize, we see that we don't start acting upon from the capture tool. The next thing that we are going to see is that we have to necessarily clear all the capture tools at least once in a day. At least once in a day, we ensure that our capture tools become zero, whether it is electronic, physical, or even the mind. Okay.
Sir, sorry, I lost you in the middle. You were talking about the capture tools which we'll use in future. Have you mentioned anything which I missed?
I don't know what you missed, but I was saying that you need to have, we're talking about how many capture tools are needed. So as few as possible and as many as you need. That is the rule. For example, if you say that I'm going to have a notepad app in my phone, where I will just put things as they come along. Whatever thoughts come, we'll dump it over there. Yes, that's a good practice. But if you say that, I'm having a Google Keep and I'm having a memo pad and I'm having a notes tool, and yes, I can use any of them. So when I need a thought, when I need to capture a thought, I realize that 2, 3 I've put in one app, another 5, 6 are in another app, another 4, 5 are in another app. Now that is not a best practice. Decide one, and for each application, decide one. So maybe there is one notepad, or decide whether you're more comfortable in physical tool or an electronic tool, or as per your convenience, one of physical, one of electronic. Be clear which capture tools you're going to have. Useful to use apps. Yeah, it could be. Some people would like to use apps. Some people would still be comfortable with a physical pen and paper diary. Whatever works for you. Now, the thing is, what we have done so far in terms of the mind sweep.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Just
yeah, Rishi.
Sir, yes, sir. My question is that ideally the rule should be that one type of capturing should be done in one app only, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Ideally,
Because
even having multiple emails, see if you can consolidate. It may not be possible for you to consolidate in one email box, personal and professional. Ho sakta hai to even better. So you know that there is one place to go to.
as much the message was as much as you need.
Yeah, as few as possible and as many as you need.
Okay.
So there is no one number that I can tell you that have only 5 or have only 2 or have only 10. Your life, your complexity of your life will decide. Yeah, consolidating all emails to one, that is very good. Now, the mind sweep that you have done right now, as many items there could be, whether it's 40 or 200, whatever there is, that is all your backlog. And we'll see how to clear that and how to organize that. The point is that even after doing a complete mind sweep in the flow of life, many more thoughts will keep coming. Right? It's not that it's happened and now tabhi aayega when you do a mind sweep. What do you do with thoughts which keep coming on the flow? Like right now, if you are in this session with me and some totally irrelevant thought, irrelevant in the sense irrelevant to this session, but very much relevant to you, but not relevant right now, comes to your mind. Oh, baad mein ye karna hai, wo karna hai. What do you do with those thoughts? Where should they go?
Sir, some we keep in mind, we have to keep in mind when we don't have mobile or notepad in our hands. Some we note it somewhere and some at mobile when we have in our mobile in hands.
So that is what I want you to change now. Some things will remain in the mind. ये तो बाद में याद आ जाएगा. drop that attitude or drop having that confidence in your own mind. Because
help it, sir. मतलब वो तो mind में कभी भी आता है ना, मतलब वैसे तो कैसे handle करना है?
बताता हूँ. So first and foremost, remember the principle: your mind is for having ideas, not for holding ideas. So never keep that thought in your mind, because it will again remind you later on, and most likely in the wrong time at the wrong place when you can't do anything about it, and it will keep disturbing you and prevent you from being completely present into what you have to be right now. So the way out is you should be capture ready. At any given point of time, either you have a notepad with you. I also keep a pocket notepad with me. So कोई भी thought आया, even in the middle of something, just make a quick placeholder. Placeholder मतलब उसको ज़्यादा elaborate नहीं करना है. Quickly just write it. Like in yesterday's video, you saw that lady just writing it, and then when she wrote it, she tore it off and she put it in the in tray. In tray से when you get to a position where you are in front of an in tray or place where you can process it from, then you take it out from there and you put it over there. So you are going to be on a mission, and the mission is never allow any thought to escape. Don't say ये बाद में आएगा ना, तभी देखेंगे. The moment you get a thought, capture it. And be clear, decide prior hand which tool you are going to keep to capture. Take a minute, let me complete. Decide prior hand itself that which tool you are going to keep to complete. It could either be a comfortable notepad and a pen. Don't just keep a notepad without a pen. Or you may say that I will use this particular app on my mobile, which I will keep handy. Or you may say that I'm driving karte samay idea hai to kya karu? I'll just keep my recorder on. I'll keep a shortcut key on my mobile. I'll start a choice is yours, whatever you are feeling comfortable. But you should be on a mission. Ek baar thought aaya, so immediately that goes off and gets captured on the notepad. Okay, now what to do with those thoughts? That will be explained in the next step of clarify and organize. But this is the way you will be on a mission to capture every thought. Yeah, Ankur, you were asking something? Very good. Very good question. Some people get the best ideas in the shower or when they're sleeping. Keep a tool handy over there also. And this is actually, I'm sharing from live experience. People have shared that they have kept a waterproof notepad in the shower. Do it. Aata hai. You can find out, you can do that. But that is the thing, where if you feel you get the best thoughts over there, या best or कोई भी ideas आता है, by the time you will realize, by the time you are out of the shower, अरे वो अच्छा thought आया था, shower के साथ वो भी wash out हो गया. Now, so you were doing the first step of capturing, right? You were capturing in the voice note. और उसके बाद क्या करने का, like you are saying वापस भूल जाते थे, तो उसका क्या करने का, that's what we are going to see in the next step. So yes, figure out a way to capture it. Some people also get ideas while they are sleeping or in the night when they get up for a loo break, they get some thought and their eyes open up. Oh, ये करना चाहिए. And they say, okay, बाद में सुबह आएंगे तो सुबह करेंगे. And then morning, you forget all about it. Or even if you recollect, you think that there was something which came to my mind. क्या था याद नहीं आ रहा है. So if that is the case, keep a notepad next to your bed also, next to your pillow. It could be notepad, it could be a phone, whatever tool you want, you decide and you keep it. Your capture tool should be pre-decided and handily available to you at any given point of time. You decide what capture tool. And on day 4, we'll explore some apps also and see how to use it. So right now I'm just planting that seed for you. Which capture tool you would like to have? You may, in these 2-3 days before we go to the final day, may want to explore some ways of working around it, and then we can share on the last day. All right. Good. So one more warning in capture, a breakdown alert. avoid bottleneck. Like you were sharing right now that, itna sara, I was keeping in the folders and that folders would pile up and become too many things. That's a bottleneck. If you're using a folder for traveling, the idea is that you empty the folder on a daily basis. Today, when your email inbox shows so many thousands of emails, what is it? It's like so many things piled up. The moment you see it, oh my God, so many things. Maybe in case of emails, you have acted upon that already. Whatever paper you are having on your table, like Ankur was showing in the beginning today, that is all your bottleneck. It's like adding to the clutter. So the way out is add it, but then process it and remove it also. Whatever capture tools we are having, we will see how to make it zero on a regular basis. And making it zero is about emptying it. So best practices in capture, as few as possible and as many as you need. No leaks. Use capture tools which are not leaky. The leaky capture tools are like your wallet, backpacks, handbags where you're putting and dumping things. And the leakiest capture tool is your mind. So remember the mission. Never allow any thought to escape. Don't keep anything in the mind. And the third and final best practice is empty it regularly. Now, how to empty? That's what we are going to see as we go ahead. So, how are you planning to use your capture tools differently? We have already discussed that. Now we'll move on to step 2. Step 2 is clarify. What do we do with what we have captured? Whether it is physical, electronic, or mental. So let's see how Rosa is learning on capture and then on clarify, and then we will discuss further.
You've got your buckets in place, so now inputs have a safe place to land. Rosa, it's decision time. You have to physically look at every item and decide, what does this mean to me? This is the clarify step, and it's incredibly important. So let's get started. Here we go. Q3 campaign performance results. What's this mean for you, Rosa? Things that pertain to you and have potential actions attached to them should be handled in that moment or land on a list. I'll explain more a little later, but for now, you've officially clarified this input. Up next, we have a purchase order. But someone else has the next step on this. No, that doesn't go back. Nothing ever goes back in the in tray. If an input involves an action that someone else should take, get it into the right hands and out of yours. Up next, the Department 5K Charity Fun Run. You won't be in town that weekend, so this memo doesn't really mean anything to you. Trash it. Sometimes your most important bucket is the waste paper bucket. Or basket. It's the quickest way to cut the clutter. Great. You're making decisions about what your stuff means and are emptying your ends. That's what demonstrating executive skills is all about. Remember, this is a mechanical process, Robo Rosa. Just keep answering the simple questions. As your buckets empty, your system becomes more accurate and complete. And what feels better than an empty in tray?
So clarify. Clarify is the next step that will help us to empty every capture tool. The process that we are going to see in clarify will work for each and every capture tool, whether it is emails, physical paper, or the list that you have in your Mindsweep. Yeah, too many action points. We'll see all of that. We'll see all of that. Okay. So clarify is about deciding what exactly an item means and what you intend to do with the results of that decision. Everything which is there in your Mindsweep. For now, we'll take the example of a Mindsweep. Everything which is there in your Mindsweep, what do you want to do with that? Why is it even there? Who has to do what? Basically, bringing it down to that actual clarity of thought that why is it even there? Same thing applies even to an email. So let us see what is the process of clarify. We'll listen to this video with the flow chart, and this is in David Allen's voice himself. So let's see what he has to say about the process.
The clarifying process really involves some simple questions to ask and answer about each one of the inputs that you've captured. The first question to ask about anything is, what exactly is it? Now, many things are self-evident, but you probably know that times you get emails that are unclear, you've been CC'd on them, what exactly they mean and why you got it, or something even in your physical mailbox. Is it junk mail? Is it something I need to respond to or whatever? So deciding specifically what something is as opposed to throwing it into your stacks. You know, you pick it up and you go, it might be something, I don't know what it is, and you throw it on the side of your desk. No light at the end of that tunnel. So decide what it is. That's question one to answer. Question number two is this an actionable thing? That is there something you're committed to do about this in terms of activity? And you have two optional answers for that, obviously, yes or no. Now, if there's a no answer, there's no action to this, there are actually three subcategories of no action. First of all is trash. Either you didn't need it to begin with, or now that you've seen it, you don't need it. It could be something that you have no action on, but you want to keep it because you need to refer to it later on, and that's what we call reference. And the third option would be it's something that I'm not going to do anything about right now, but you might later on. That is, you need to incubate it, put it on hold. Now, if there is action you need to take on this, there is a really key question to answer right on the beginning, and that is, what's the very next action? If there's a yes to the actionable item, then that fourth question is, what's the very next action you need to take on this? And that means you need to get real specific and really granular about that next action. Is it an email to send, something to buy at the store? What's the very next granular, physical, visible activity we need to take on this actionable item? And then you have three options about what to do with that right then. One is just to do the action. And that's the do it, the 2-minute rule. If you can finish something in less than 2 minutes, you should just do it right then, because it would take you longer to organize it and review it than to finish it in the moment. If it takes longer than 2 minutes, then you need to ask yourself, are you the right person to do this? In which case, it could very well be that you need to delegate this, hand this off to someone else. And if you can't do that, it's longer than 2-minute action and you can't hand it to somebody else, then that goes to the third category of actionable items, which is defer it. That doesn't mean procrastinate. It just means I'm not going to do that right this second. I just need to park that somehow in my inventory of all the actions I need to take whenever it's appropriate for me to get around to them. A final question you need to ask and answer to get clarification about the stuff that you've captured is, will one action complete whatever this item is and whatever this commitment is? And if not, you then have a project, some outcome that's going to take more than one step to complete, and you need to identify what that is. What's the title? How would you title this project? So those are the 5 questions. What is it? Is it actionable? Yes or no? And if not, do you trash it, reference it, or incubate it? And if it is, you can either do it, delegate the action, or defer it into your system. And if one action won't complete it, you have a project you need to define.
Okay. So let's take the same flow and understand it with the help of an example. Let's say you have received an email. Let's take the capture tool of an email. Okay, inbox. Let's say there is an email from a customer. The customer has escalated it to you that there is a issue at the site or with the product or with the service, and that needs to be resolved. And the customer has even complained about some efficiency issues in the site, and some issues are happening. Okay, now when you're looking at the email, let's say the funnel that you're seeing on the top, that is all your emails which are there in your inbox. The red one is that email which has come up. So what is it? You open the email, you ask yourself, what is it? Oh, this customer escalation is there and customer is complaining about all these things. Next question is it actionable? Of course, it is actionable, right? So if no wala becomes not applicable over here, so third step we'll ignore for this one. So it is actionable. So then if it is actionable, before we get to the three choices of do, delegate, defer, before we even get there, if it is actionable, if the answer is yes, then a very, very important question to ask is, what is the next action? And this is a place where your mind will probably fool you. If you ask yourself, what is the next action? Your mind will say, oh, of course, to reply to the email. My next action is that I have to reply to the email. But can you really reply to the email without getting enough facts from your team? Maybe not. If you can, then fine, reply. That becomes the next action. But if you need more facts, if you need more information, then your next action is not reply to email. Your next action is to do something to get those details. Again, your next action is when you come up with that, okay, your mind will trick you to say reply to email, but don't stop at that. Ask yourself, in order to reply to the email, what would be my immediate next action right now? And your mind may tell you, okay, I have to get some more information about what exactly is happening in the site. Okay, now to get that more information, what is the next action that has to happen right now? I have to contact the colleague of mine. Okay, which colleague are you knowing? Yes, okay, I know which colleague to contact. To contact the colleague. In order to contact the colleague, what is the next action that has to happen right now? Maybe I have to call him up. Maybe I have to send an email. So the next action has to be very, very granular. That what exactly I have to do. That becomes the next action. Okay, so understand this definition of next action is very critical, and this is one of the reasons why procrastination happens when the next action itself is not clear. So in this particular example, we'll say next action is to send an email to the colleague. Now, the question is, can I do it right now in 2 minutes or less? Maybe I have to just forward this email to my colleague. I can just do it right now and done. So I just do it. Maybe the colleague is himself a new entrant and he has taken over from an earlier person. So abhi usko pura samjhana padega. So then even if I have to send an email, I have to probably draft it in a manner that the colleague gets it right. And I don't do it right now. Right now in the sense, go back to the initial funnel. Okay, there are so many emails that I'm processing. I'm in the flow of clarifying my capture tools. In that flow, I will first decide that I'll clarify the capture tools, and ye hone ke baad I will do it. I don't want to be distracted into working only on one of the emails and figure out that the rest of the emails are not addressed. So if I decide that it will take me more than 2 minutes, I will not do it right now, then I will defer it. So deferring is not procrastinating. It is saying that once I complete this clarify process of my emails, I will do it after that. So it's a decision that I'm making. Clarify step is about making a decision as to what has to be done with that item, which is there in my capture tool. So I decide to defer it. I defer the next action. I do not defer any part of the mental thinking. And that's why I say that before you decide, do, delegate, defer, you have to decide what is the next action. You are not deferring reply to email. You are not deferring taking a decision on what to do about the email. You have taken the decision that I have to contact the colleague by email, and you are only deferring the next action of sending that email to your colleague. So you will track it separately as the next action. Now, where to track it, how to put it in which system, that we will see in the third step of organize. But right now the decision is taken, it will be deferred. Now, having deferred this item, let's say you decided, okay, next action is I have to send an email to colleague. Is the task done once the email is sent from your side? No, in fact, it begins from there. Because based on that, you don't know what will happen next, what information you're going to get, what information you will be sufficient for you to reply to your client. Your task will get done when you have successfully addressed the client escalation. So wherever there are multiple steps involved, you don't think about what is the subsequent step, but you at least decide what is the final step. When will I call it done? That becomes a project. That is step 5 over here. Is there a project to it? Yes, there is a project, because it doesn't end with just the first next action. There are multiple next actions which will happen after that. So what is the project? Give a name to the project. Name of the project could be successfully addressing the customer escalation or resolving the customer escalation on the email. So that becomes the project. So that is the flow. If anything is there which should not be there, or it's like, is it actionable? If the answer is no, then you have 3 choices: trash it, or if you don't want to trash it, you want to keep it somewhere for future reference, then you reference it. And there could be something that you don't want to, you're not sure whether karna hai, nahi karna hai, when to do it, whether you even want to do it right now. That is what comes as incubate. Now, an example of incubate here is what I was discussing yesterday on my list. There was something that you saw as martial arts. Now, I don't know whether I'll ever do martial arts, whether I'll ever learn it, but ek ichha hoti hai, jab bhi karenge. Sometime I may do it. I don't know when, I don't know whether I'll do it. That is what is incubate. So Ankur was asking, getting lost in the definition between incubate and deferring. Deferring is something which is a commitment to be done. When you're deferring, you don't defer any mental thinking. You are only deferring the physical action after completing the mental thinking. In incubating, you have no commitment at all. बाद में ही करना है. I don't know, करना भी है कि नहीं करना है. Where you are not having a commitment right now at all, that is what you incubate.
The clarifying process really involves some simple questions.
Okay.
The clarifying process.
That is the flow. So to repeat, take up one item at a time, and this is what you will do in your mind sweep as well. What is it? Now you may think that what is it to pata hai, mera hi inbox hai, mera hi item hai, mera hi mind sweep hai, but still some clarity further on that. What is it? Then is it actionable? There can be only 2 answers. Can there be a third answer on this? Can there be a third answer? Yes or no? Can there be a third answer? One answer is yes, second answer is no. Ankur, are you with us? Okay. All right. Yeah. So yes or no can have a yes. Is it actionable? Can have an answer yes or no. Can there be a third answer?
I don't know.
I don't know. Can there be a maybe? Yeah, I explained that part. I will repeat it later also. I was explaining that what is the difference. So, is it actionable? Can it have a third answer? Can there be a maybe?
Yes, I mean, at times we are not sure whether we want to pursue the project or not. I mean,
Exactly.
feasibility study has arrived, but we don't know till now whether we want to do something about it or not.
Yeah. So
And that probably, sorry to interrupt, but that probably happens with maybe a new business idea or a new product.
correct.
That you have come up with a product. Now, if it is my own idea, I always feel it is $1 billion product. It will be the next Apple phone. But
Yes.
But the fact is that first the team has to get comfortable with the thing that yes, this is a good idea, and second, then the proof of concept. So I get this a lot of times that what I feel is a very good idea may not ultimately turn out to be anything.
Yes.
Of
So that
much
exactly, thank you for sharing that. That exactly is the difference between incubate and defer. Maybe Whenever you get an answer, maybe, yeah, is it actionable? Maybe. Ask yourself, am I committed to do this? Am I going to get, what is the next action for it? Do I have to get a concurrence from the team? So maybe I have to set up a meeting for that. Then there is a next action. Then it's a yes. Because right now, to decide whether it is maybe, whether it is yes or no, I have to take some actions and then go ahead. Then I will go through the yes route. The yes route will be, what is the next action? Rather than just keeping vague in your mind and saying, पता नहीं क्या करना है, approve होगा या नहीं होगा, approval चाहिए तो क्या करना है? Decide that. And that becomes your next action that you will defer. You are only going to defer the physical action and not the mental thinking. If it is at a stage where you don't even know whether you will go for the approval process or not, there are too many things on your plate, but this is a very good idea. It may work later on. I may want a new project, a new product, or maybe enter into a new market, but right now I don't have the bandwidth for it, but it's a good idea. I don't know whether I'll work on it later or not. It's a maybe. In this case, a maybe is a no. And that is what you incubate. Incubate means I am deferring even the mental thinking. So I'm repeating the difference between incubate and deferring. Wherever you have already a commitment to be made and you know that you are committed to work on it, the answer is a yes. Is it actionable? Yes. But what is the next action? I decide on that next action. And that action cannot be done right now in 2 minutes or less. I will defer it. Defer it in the sense, I will do it after I complete the clarifying of all these pins which are there. My capture tool. एक बार वो हो जाए तो बाद में करता हूँ. Deferring is not postponing. It's not pre-procrastination. It is saying that right now I am in the flow of clarifying my one by one, my mind sweep, or one by one, my email. तो वो हो गया. तो अभी नहीं कर सकते because 2 minutes से ज़्यादा लगेगा. So then I will defer it to the next available opportunity to do it. Incubating on the other hand is like I want to learn swimming, but I don't know whether I will learn or not. I'm not very sure. I'm not even found out the right kind of class. करना है. I want to learn guitar. I don't know whether I'll learn it. एक शौक था, कॉलेज से था, अभी तक नहीं किया. But I would love to, get my hands on it. पता नहीं कब करेंगे भी कि नहीं करेंगे, I don't know. That is what is incubate. So wherever your mental commitment is not there at all on that right now, and you might take it up later, that is incubate. A bucket list is incubate. Right? Got it? Clear now, right? Wherever it is a commitment where you're already working on it and some action is to be taken, and right now it's going to take more than 2 minutes, I will defer it. So questions, what is it? Is it actionable? There can be only 2 answers, yes or no. A maybe is probably a no, which means you don't have a commitment on it, so you are saying maybe. So usko no category mein dal do. If it is no, is it a trash? Or do I have to reference it? So if I don't want to throw it away, let's say a courier has come. Okay, and you are asking it what it is, or it's a bank statement. Is it actionable? No. So do I trash it out? No. I want it for my income tax returns. It will go in my document file. So I will file it. That is an example of a reference. You are saying your backpack and there is a visiting card in that. Is it actionable? Maybe if I have told that person that I will call him up, then yes, it is actionable. But meeting ho gaya, later on kabhi use karenge, acha hai, visiting card, I'll file it up. So I don't want to trash it. I will file it. Or maybe I just transfer that number into my contact list on my phone and I trash the visiting card. So that's an example of a no. If it is yes, then before you jump to the 3 options, you have to ask yourself this most important and most fundamental question. The question is, what is the next action? Let us say that you are clearing your backpack and you find a bill of a stationery that you have purchased for your professional work. Now this has to be claimed from office. So you are not, it's not actionable. Is it actionable? It's not a no, it is a yes, it is actionable. So what is the next action? I have to process a expense reimbursement voucher. So that becomes the action. Now, whatever action you arrive at, whatever next action you arrive at, for that you ask yourself, can I do it right now in 2 minutes or less? If yes, then do it. If not, then does somebody else have to do it? Then delegate it. And if I have to do it, and it cannot be done right now in 2 minutes or less while I am already in the flow of clarifying my captures, I will defer it so that I can do it myself later. Now, whatever it is, whether it is do, delegate or defer, is there a project? That is the fifth step. Is there a project? If the action does not end with just that one thing, for example, I give you about that customer escalation, there will be multiple steps. So there will be a project. The project will be called resolve customer escalation. In the case of that expense reimbursement voucher, the next step is to submit the expense voucher. But doesn't stop at that. Once I submit it, the accounts will pay it to me. So for me, the project is to get my reimbursement from the accounts team. So even if there is one more step after the next action, any multi-step outcome is a project. So there will be, this is the flow of the clarify, okay? As you clarify, for all items which are actionable, wherever the answer to question number 2 is yes, your clarify process will lead to two things. Your clarify process will lead to two things. One is next action. Next action is what is that immediate next step that I will be seen doing. Or in other words, what is the immediate, very next immediate physical, visible action that will move the situation forward. That is one thing which I will get from the clarify. Second thing I will get is what is the project, the last step. First step and the last step. This is the outcome of the clarify process. There is a 2-minute rule in clarify that if you come across something that can be done in 2 minutes or less, then just do it. Then you don't defer it. Then you don't put it in a separate to-do list. You just do it right there. So let us say there is an email that you have got and it says that, there is a proposal that you have to approve. And let's say your team member has already briefed you about that proposal. You have told the team member, email bhej dena, main approve kar dunga. So now when such an email is coming, you know the background of it. You have just a brief glance on the mail and you know, all this is fine. It's good to go. I have to just type in approved and reply. It's a 2-minute task. Then reply to the email and close. There is no subsequent action after that. Done. Approved, done. But if it takes you more than 2 minutes, let's say you have to still review this, ye kya likha hai, I need some time to process it, then I will not be able to do it right now. But if I'm not able to do it right now, then I will ask myself, what is the next action? So let's take this example. An email comes with a proposal which you need time to go through and check the facts. Maybe you even want to call that team member and discuss. So now, is it actionable? Yes, it is actionable. If yes, what is the next action? The next action is Again, your mind will trick you over here to say the next action is to approve that project. But your next action is not to approve the project. Your next action is not even decide whether to approve the project or not. That is not the next action. The next action is discuss with the colleague about this proposal. So to discuss with the colleague, what am I going to do? Can I call the colleague? Make a phone call? Please come, we'll talk about it. Now that becomes the next action. Or I have to just pick up the phone and talk to the colleague. Maybe that discussion will go on for more than 2 minutes. So now the next action becomes call the colleague to discuss the proposal. And now this next action I will put in my list of next actions. This is what I will defer because I can't do that right now. That action has to be deferred. Exactly. Because while I'm in the flow of processing my emails, I'm not going to spend more than 2 minutes in calling up my colleague. So that is the flow. In order for you to decide whether something can be done, delegated or deferred, you have to come to the conclusion of what is the next action. This is the key. And this is also one of the reasons why procrastinations happen. If you look at your mind sweep, the way your mind sweep is written, what it is telling you, pick up any random item from the mind sweep. It is probably not even telling you what is the next action. It is telling you that, okay, I have something to do. For example, a mind sweep item, which I put yesterday from my list. Prepare an online course. You remember I had put one, prepare an online course. But what about the online course? So you have to ask yourself, if such a thing is there on the mind, so you ask yourself, if I have to ask myself, to prepare the online course, what do I have to do? Maybe I need to have a video. I have to create a video. Okay, so in order to do the video, what do I have to do? To do the video first, before that I have to do my content. So to do the content, what I have to do? I have to prepare a PPT slide. Now that becomes my next action. That is the very next physical, visible action that will move the situation forward. If you are getting confused about what is the next action, then ask yourself this simple question. The question is, what will I be seen doing? What will I be seen doing? That will move the situation forward. Because it is physical and visible. Visible, seen, physical, doing. So you arrive at that, and that is what you are deferring. A lot of procrastination happens if I say that create online course. Oh my God, online course कहाँ से शुरू करूँ? क्या क्या करना होगा? Video है, PPT है, क्या? Where to begin? I don't even know. A lot of reason for procrastination is that the next action is not clear. And the way your to-do list is mentioning it, it is in a way that is sounding overwhelming, or it is written in a way that it can't be done till something prior to that is done. For example, taking that example of that customer ka escalated email. A typical person in the typical to-do list would write reply to customer for the escalation. And whenever you see your to-do list, you will see reply to customer for the escalation. Whenever you see your to-do list and you read that, it will tell you, "Arey, but usme to details chahiye mujhe. How can I reply right now?" Right. Procrastinated because what your to-do list is saying is not what you can do. Your to-do list is saying what you can't do right now. And then you have deferred the thinking also. You have not completed the mental thinking exactly by kya karna hai wo batao. So the very basic change in terms of thinking about next action is arrive at what is the granular next step. The next thing which will result from this process of clarifying is the project. The project is that final outcome. And that final outcome could be something which may be even like, let's say I have to call up the customer. कि उसको mail उसको, is everything okay? And that customer has to reply to me. And that's the final check. One thing is I have to call up. But calling up will not be done till the customer has confirmed. So getting that confirmation. So even if there is one more thing after my next action, that final thing that I'm tracking will be tracked as a project. Yeah, Ankur, your hand is up. You want to ask something? Yeah, yes, yes. That is exactly. उसी टाइम लिखना है अब. हाँ, वो क्या लिखना है? Correct, correct. और वो कहाँ लिखना है? Where will you track it? All that we will see when we do organize. Right now, let's write it. After writing that down, where to put it in the system, how we will track it, how we will track it in a way that we are able to do it and get things done. You will see all of that. But right now, yes, what you're saying is perfect. Decide and write down the results of that decision in the form of next action and project. I'll take one more example. Let's say I have received an invitation from a cousin of mine who is in a different city. I am in Mumbai. Let's say that cousin is in Ahmedabad. And he is calling me for his son's wedding. He's inviting me for his son's wedding. Now, I open the invitation. I want to go for the wedding. Okay. So I process it to the same way. What is it? It is an invitation to my nephew's wedding. Is it actionable? Yes, it is actionable. I want to go. What is the next action? Any thoughts?
Put it into the calendar or
Book a flight.
Yeah.
Plan the mode of travel.
Sorry?
Plan the mode of travel. Book
Plan
a
the
flight.
mode of- Yeah. Okay. So there could be multiple things, right? The
Yeah.
same situation may
Who
have
has-
different actions for different people. But I'm talking about that immediate next action only, and that itself will vary for different people. For someone, it would be I have to check my calendar for the availability, my own availability. For somebody, it could be that I know I'm available, I have to book a flight. So then book a flight becomes next action. For someone, it will be I want to go with my wife and daughter. So I have to check their availability. So then maybe confirm with family or discuss with family becomes the next action. Book a flight, not the next action. I won't be able to book a flight till I have checked with the family. So you have to come to that basic thing, that physical, visible, next immediate action that will move the situation forward. And you will put that in your list that you are deferring. So maybe talk to wife becomes my next action. And does it get over just by talking to wife? No. In fact, uske baad I will book the tickets, I will plan it out, I will talk to my daughter or whatever, I'll plan it out. So what is my final action? What is the project that I want to track? What will the project be? Attend the wedding, exactly. Attend the wedding, enjoy the wedding, that becomes my project. So as a result of Clarify, I'm coming up with two things. Next action, discuss with wife, project, attend the wedding. That's it. That is as simple as Clarify step can get. Remember one thing in Clarify, one of the bottlenecks which are there in Clarify is that please avoid diversion. And by diversion, I mean that while let's say I'm processing the various letters which have come, one of the letters is this invitation. there is more to process, right? Maybe discussing with the wife will take me some more time. So while I'm processing the ins, while I'm processing the letters, in that moment, I will not call up my wife. It's going to take me more than 2 hours. Sorry, more than 2 minutes. If it's going to take me more than 2 minutes, I will not call up my wife right now. So avoid getting diverted into one of the tasks when you're clarifying your ins. When you're clarifying on capture tool, do only if it takes you less than 2 minutes, otherwise you defer it. Another thing about noticing or noting what to avoid in terms of diversion is do not overthink. Do not overthink. Taking this particular example, if I say that I have to talk to wife, I just put that as the next action. Talk to a wife or discuss with wife. And the final project, attend the wedding. I don't overthink at that point. What if my wife is not available? What if my wife is available and daughter is not available? What if my daughter is available, wife is not available? What if both are available, I am not available? Don't create scenarios at that point of time. Do not overthink. After discussion with wife, whatever will result will create another action. Right now, you'll only create hypothetical actions. Another reason for procrastination. You tend to want to address all the possible scenarios even before getting started. But start to karo, ek baat karo. Like you were talking about the new project that you want to do, a new product you want to start. That start itself will not happen because you're thinking कि भाई ये team member approve करेगा या नहीं, ये budget में fit होगा या नहीं, ये होगा या नहीं, वो होगा या नहीं. All those scenarios start building up in our mind only. And the very first step of initiating the proposal gets procrastinated. All you have to do when you're clarifying is what is that next action, the first step. Do that, document that as a deferred next action, and you will see how you move further on that. That is the idea about getting things done. You start, it is something that will do it for you. But if you are tracking a to-do item as get the new project launched, it's a huge to-do. It's not telling you that exactly kahan se shuru karo. And probably in your mind, you're already creating scenarios कि भाई किसका approval लेना होगा, what limit will it fall into, what will it meet this criteria, that criteria. Start off, what is the first criteria you want to check and put that as the next action. So avoid diversions when you're doing your clarify. So let's take some examples. And I would like all of you to participate and put your answers in the chat box. Okay, there was a question in the chat box. Do we get the videos? Yes. The training is not recorded, but whatever videos we are sharing over here, they are being shared with you on the same day. Like if you see yesterday's message in the group, that lady's video explaining the various best practices, that is there. In today's message, you will get the link to the video of David Allen showing the flow as well. So all the videos that we are sharing will be there. So you will get that. All right. So let's see how we can clarify this and type your answers in the chat box.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm a little unclear still on what to defer and what to incubate. I mean, what is the difference between defer and incubate?
We will touch upon it again. I have already explained it, but I'll explain it again. Right now, let's take some examples. Maybe that will make it clear.
Sure.
Okay. So let's say you have some notes from the team meeting that you attended this morning. How will you clarify this?
Check whether there is some actionable there or not. First, we have to decide.
Yeah. So the flow remains the same. What is it? It is some notes from the team meeting. We generally make notes in our notebook. That's also a capture tool. Remember that. All the various diaries and notebooks that you go and attend meetings with, they are all your capture tools. Sometimes we have so many multiple notes and notebooks that we don't know concept book mein kya likha hai. The problem that becomes that we are not emptying the capture tool once we have recorded it. So let's say there are some notes from the team meeting. Yeah. Ask yourself the question, is it actionable? Now there will be multiple items in that notes. Some of them may be actionable, some of them may not be actionable. So ideally process this question for each and every item. Because when you do it for each and every item, you'll find that there are different actions, there are different elements in that. So for the items which are not actionable, let's take those first. Let's say there are some notes and there are nothing to be done. There is no actionable. Then what to do? Do you trash the minutes? No. You will reference it. You'll file it off. Let's say there is something that is actionable. Then what will you do? Correct. Not 1 minute, 2 minutes. Okay, but yeah, you get the point. Yeah. Okay. Now, before you even decide whether it can be done in 2 minutes or not, you have to ask yourself, what is the next action? And I'm repeating this again and again because the way you may have written it in your notes may or may not tell you what the clear next action is. Your next action could be prepare a PPT. In your notes to meeting, you have taken up as an actionable on your head that, yeah, I will do this, I will prepare the PPT or the report, I'll prepare the report. But to prepare the report, probably you need some data. To get that data, probably you have to do some research. To do some research, maybe you have to put on the laptop and do some Google. So then your next action will be Google the data points for the PPT. So you have to be very clear about what that physical, visible next action is. And that is what you're deferring. And apart from figuring out the next action and deferring that, you will also find out what is the project. So your next action could be Google the data points for the PPT. Your project is send the PPT to the board of directors. Are you seeing the difference between the next action and the project? Next action is immediate step, project is the final step. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see as we go. Where to track it, how to follow it. Yeah. That will organize. Okay, next one. Let's say there is a receipt from lunch.
It's very simple. Whether do we need to retain this receipt or not? If yes, then keep it in the folder, or if not, required, trash.
Right. Exactly. So if it is not, ask yourself, actionable or not. If not, then just trash it. If yes, then probably you'll prepare expense reimbursement or something that we discussed earlier. That will become the next action. A note I wrote to send my partner information on the next movie night. I want to go for a movie with my partner. I have sent a note to her or him that this is the thing. Now, I don't know whether he or she will come with me. I'm waiting for that. How will you clarify? Yeah.
We are waiting for the reply.
You are waiting for the reply. This will not be a reference. Here, it is a thing that I have already delegated. I want to go for the movie night. So actionable, yes. But I don't know whether because my partner does not yet confirm. So it is a delegated item. Now remember this. The delegation that we talk about in GTD is beyond the normal layman understanding of delegation. Delegation is not only something that you pass on to a junior team member. It could be anywhere to anyone. Wherever you are waiting for somebody else to do something for you so that you can take the next step forward. That falls in the category of delegation. So this one is something which is already delegated. Now you can't do the next action till that person comes back to you. Right? So it can be something that I have delegated down to my team member and I've asked him for details, or I have put an approval to my boss and I'm waiting for her approval to allow me to do something or get my project approved or my expense approved. That is also delegated. So it can also be upward delegation. It could be that I have sent a proposal to the client and the client is yet to revert. That also comes in the category of delegation in this context, because it is something that I can't do till the other person does. Everything that is there in other person's domain, the ball is in their court. And my next action will happen only after they act upon it. That will be delegated. So you will track all the delegated items also separately. Right now we are taking a decision whether it's delegated. In organized, we'll see how to track it. Right? So that is about a delegated one. Let's say your driver's license, your own driving license is there. How will you clarify it? Let's say you are going through your wallet and you come across your driving license.
No, it's just normal driver license, or like it's expired or some action is required on it.
That, very good. That is the context.
So we will just store it, reference.
Reference. If it is just a normal, sorry, 1 minute. If it is just a normal license, it is not actionable. It is not actionable. But that doesn't mean I can trash it. It will be referenced and will lie in your wallet. If it is something that has to be renewed, then what I do? Then I ask, is it actionable? Yes.
Delegated.
What is the next action?
Delegated.
Defer.
Then it becomes an entire project.
So what is the next action?
Find the correct out.
Find the correct tout. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now again, here your mind will fool you to say next action is renew the license. And you will never get started on it.
That's the project. That's the project.
That is the project. That's the final action. Get the license renewed. The next action would be find the agent, find the broker, find the tout who will do it for you. Or maybe it will be go to the RTO, whatever it is that you will do next. Imagine if you have a to-do list. And scenario 1, your to-do list says renew driver's license. Scenario 2, your to-do list says search on Google for the agent to renew driver's license. Which of the two is more doable? When you see it, which one will get you into action? The first one or the second one? The second one, right? Because second one is telling you, look up on Google, find out who is the right agent. So in fact, the way Rishi also worded it, find out who's the right tout, that is also not the way to frame a next action, because you have to be clear how you're going to find out. The idea is complete the mental thinking entirely. If you say find out, you have not completed that how you're going to find out. Are you going to Google? Are you going to call up some admin guy in your office? Are you going to call up a friend who is more available, who is more aware about it? Who are you going to call up? Or how are you going to find out? So that is the specificity of the next action. So when you clarify, there are certain rules to follow. In whichever capture tool you are using, whether it is the Mindsweep or whether it is your email or your physical papers, you start in a certain sequence. Start with the topmost item first. Take items one at a time. Do not try to combine items. Don't say, ye difficult wala hai, ye baad mein karenge, next one karte hai. Don't procrastinate. Do not defer the mental thinking. One of the reasons for procrastinating is we don't finish our mental thinking. Finish the thinking one at a time, one item at a time. Ultimately, the final outcome has to land up in one of the 6 places. Trash, reference, incubate, do, delegate, defer. There cannot be any 7th way. Only thing you have to keep in mind is when you are getting into do, delegate, or defer, before that you have to decide the next action. You are not deferring the mind sweep. You are not deferring the email. You are deferring the next action, which means the mental thinking has to be finished. Your idea is, or your objective is to get your mind sweep to empty, to get your email to empty. When we were saying that there should be no email in your email inbox anymore, this is what it means. You clarified. Then where the emails will go, we'll see that also. So, yeah, now let's take some questions. FIFO or LIFO, what should be used? Up to you. Ideally, FIFO. Okay. Yeah, Abhishek.
Yeah, so one fundamental question I was just thinking, right? When we think about going to the most granular activity to note it down in our to-do, then we end up having a series of activities that we need to keep noting in our to-dos then. So let's say I say that the same example of the wedding, right? Now I say that I need to inquire with my partner about whether I need to go there or not. Once you complete, you have another set of activities to sort of note it down. Does it actually not increase your work rather than making it more productive and efficient?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Right now, let's understand the flow, and there will be a lot of doubts. Is it really resolving my work or is it adding to my work?
Yeah.
We will talk about that later. Right now, let's understand the concept, how it works, what benefit we are getting from it. Then we'll also talk about what challenges are likely to come, like what you had asked, a very, very practical challenge that may happen in your mind. So we'll address that later. Okay. Yeah, Aditya?
Sir, I'm clear with the next action project. I'm clear. But I don't understand that मेरा to-do list में मैं next action लिखूं and project दोनों लिखूं कि
we will see in organize.
Okay.
Right now, let's track the next action and the project separately. क्या कहाँ लिखना है, कहाँ जाएगा, that we'll see. Okay, so now I would like you all to work on your mind sweep. Take 2 items of your mind sweep, one at a time. Okay, and I'll tell you what you have to do. I'll give you some demo also. In your PDF, in the workbook, there is an example. So let's say mind sweep is board meeting. Okay, step number 1. What is it? You'll say board meeting. Is it actionable? Yes, it is actionable. So the no one is not applicable. If yes, what is the next action? If yes, the next action could be, okay, I have to email Roger regarding sales forecast. So you have to arrive at the next action before you tick off do, delegate, defer. And if there are more steps, then what is the project title? Project title is present the sales team projections at the board meeting. So this is what is expected that you're going to do. Let's say your mind sweep says holiday. Is it actionable? Yes. So what is the next action? Search online for accommodation in London. What is the final project? Summer holiday in London finalized. So I would like to take a couple of live demos. The video that you saw, uska picture yahan bhi hai. I would like to take a couple of live demos. You're going to do it over here. Okay. So who would like to share one of the items from your mind sweep? Let's do it as a demo so everyone will be clear कि exactly करना क्या है.
So I have some digital courses that I plan to foresee in the future. So I've written watch some digital courses.
Okay. Watch some digital courses. Okay. Is it actionable?
Yes.
Yes. So if yes, what is the next action? वो बताओ.
Explore the available courses.
Maybe put it on a schedule, on which day, what time.
1 minute. Now, when I'm asking, no, only the person whose Mindsweep we have taken, that person will answer. And why I'm saying that is because if this item was there in your Mindsweep, there is a high likelihood that your next action would be different from Ankit's next action. Right? So now we are talking about Ankit. So Ankit will answer only, nobody else. Yeah. So what is the next action, Ankit?
So probably I already have the courses with me. I've already purchased several courses, but not watched all of them. So I have access to them. The only thing is to schedule it. So probably the next action could be schedule a time or a particular slot and block that slot for this particular course.
Okay. All right. So next action is schedule a time. Now, still it is a bit vague. Can you tell me what is vague about this? Now, this everyone can answer. Can you tell me what is vague about this one? Exactly. This is a challenge which most of us will relate to when it comes to complete courses or read the books. Itna sara books hai. I want to read books. Hey, Ankit, can you zero down on which course you would start with? Make that decision.
So
right.
I bought all these courses. Whenever I came across something, I liked it, I bought it, I downloaded it, and it's a repository. So again, when I schedule it first step, then my next action would be to select first and then schedule. So probably I would first select, watch those 5 courses that I've seen, go through them quickly, whichever appeals to me the most or whichever is the most helpful to me at this point of time, I'll select that first and schedule that first. Probably.
Correct. So then your next action, not your next. Yeah, exactly. Your next action, Ankit, is not about scheduling time. And this is a very typical example how your brain will fool you. Just for the initial few days or till you get a hang of this entire flow, what I would urge you is, for all of you, the moment you come up with the next action, no, ask yourself, in order to do this, what is my next action right now?
Okay.
Okay, so your next action, Ankit, would be select the course. Right? I can still go further to say that in order to select the course, Ankit, what would I see you doing? What is the physical, visible next action that you would be doing?
I would go through the briefs of all the courses.
Where would you be going through the briefs of all the courses?
It's in my Google Drive. So every course has a PDF where it details down what it is about, what I'm going to learn in it. And then there are videos which I will watch. So first I will go through the preview of the course. Read the preview PDF.
Now this is the next action.
Okay.
It should tell you exactly what you're doing in such a way that the thinking is complete. Okay, are you getting the flow, everyone over here, what we are doing?
Yes.
If you imagine, or if you look at the various options that we evaluated with Ankit, schedule the time, select the course, watch some digital courses, the way he has written it in his to-do. None of these are telling exactly kya karna hai. And every time Ankit would look at a to-do which said in either of these 3 forms, it would only, his mind would tell him, "Arey, kaise karega?" Right? Which means you have not completed the mental thinking. So the idea about clarify step is complete the mental thinking. The next action should tell you specifically. Okay. Great. Thanks, Ankit. Now you will say, can I do it, delegate it, defer it? So do, so you can't do it in 2 minutes, right? Delegate, you will be doing it, right? You can't ask somebody else to do it.
No, I'll be doing it myself.
So then you take defer. So before you take defer, you have to come to this conclusion that what is the next action? Do not jump to just based on this, watch some, see, typically what happens in the mind? You will say, watch some digital courses. हाँ, actionable है, अभी नहीं कर सकते, defer करो. तो वो defer ही रहेगा. Remember, what you are deferring. You are not deferring, watch some digital courses. What you are deferring is, go through the Google Drive and read the PDF preview to select the course. You are deferring the decided physical action where mental thinking is completed. And final step, Ankit, what is the project? Final desired outcome.
This is a continuous process. It's like continuous learning. Keep myself updated with whatever latest things are going on in the digital marketing field.
Yeah. So you can put it that way that it is, so then there will not be a project if you look at it as a continuous action. However, you can say, if you want, this is just an option. Maybe what can help you to go further is that you can say that complete one course every month.
Okay.
Up to you, whatever timeline you want to put. You may even choose the earlier option that you took, but it is up to you. This is completely optional. Especially in terms of something ongoing like that. Sometimes when you have the project and later on in organize and reflect, tomorrow when we do reflect, we'll see the project will remind you that this is your goalpost. So it may help to add something that will push you further, that it could be one course a month or one course in a quarter, whatever it is. Or one course a week for that matter, you decide. So that will be a kind of a guideline. Wonderful, thank you. So this is the way you will do, right? For everyone, it is on page 14 of the PDF, that is page 10 of the hard copy. Do this for yourself, take up two items from your Mindsweep and complete the sheet. Yeah, Aditya?
I was trying to do this. I have a item on my to-do list, which is hire F&B controller.
Hire
food and beverage controller. So that was the to-do which I had written.
Okay.
I'm unable to understand the next step because it's a project.
So this is the way we'll proceed. Let's take that as an example. Hire F&B controller. Actionable? Yes.
Yes.
So to hire F&B controller, and this is the flow everyone will do, okay? You will ask yourself this question. In order to do this, Aditya, to hire F&B controller, what is the next immediate physical visible step that will take the situation forward?
So actually, the next step is to make a JD. My hiring JD and my job, it's the JD only.
So make a JD for the F&B controller.
Correct.
In order to do this, what do you need to do?
So I have to make the JD myself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
So that becomes the next step. So you defer it, right? You complete it over here, because then if you just say make a JD, then every time you look at it, you will be unclear ke kya karna hai, kiske liye JD hai. You complete it, make a JD for F&B controller. And what is the final project?
Hire F&B controller.
Hire F&B controller.
And he joins is the project.
So if he's clear, he seems to be very clear ke kya dalna hai, right, Aditya?
Yeah, if I'm not clear, then I'll ask my person, I'll delegate it to my manager.
So now, decide that right now, Aditya. Right now, do you have all the information needed to make a JD?
Yeah.
So then this will be right. And the question that you asked was also very clear, very critical and crucial, that ask yourself this: what if I don't have the details? Then this is not the next action. Then maybe getting the details or asking the HR consultant, whatever it could be, that becomes the next action. So that's why I said everyone's next action will be different, even if your Mindsweep item is similar.
No, but ideally the next steps after this is give it to a HR recruitment agency. So that becomes the next steps, right?
वो बाद में आएगा. Right now you focus only on step 1 and the final step.
Okay.
We'll take it step by step. I know you're wondering उसके बाद का क्या है. It will not end with this. And because it will not end with this, we are tracking the project also. The project will continuously act to remind you, which we'll see tomorrow, how that there is something more to it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
All right. So everyone do it for at least 2 things from your list. Yeah, Prarthana.
So hi. So I had a question. So if my task is to hire a design agency or find a design agency to design my website, okay. So now the thing is that this is a very clear task that I have, and so there are three immediate next steps that I can think of, but I don't know how to decide which is the first next step that I want to do. So what do you do in such a case? Because I have the 3 possible ideas. The 3 possible next steps are: I can call some colleagues, I can speak to some contractors, or I can check out some other websites or LinkedIn where I can see some agencies and then contact them, right? So how do I figure out what is the most immediate next step for me?
Decide right now which of the 3 you want to start with.
Okay.
So which one would you like to start with?
The third one.
That is, can you repeat
Basically, check out some people on LinkedIn and see if I can reach out to them.
that? Okay, perfect. So write that. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say you wrote that, let's say you say call up colleagues.
Okay.
Also there, be specific which colleague.
Okay.
Complete the thinking. Sometimes we have in our to-do list, call up colleagues for this.
Mhm.
And when you look at it, again, thinking is incomplete. You'll say call up colleague. पहले तो ये नहीं सोचा किसको फोन करना है.
Okay.
So call up so and so person.
Mhm.
Make it very clear. That is the idea about it. Okay. And thanks for asking that question, Prarthana. It is a practical thing that at times you may have more than one next actions in a way that they are not dependent on each other.
Yeah.
Like the 3 options that Prarthana mentioned, they are not dependent on each other. एक करेगा तो ही दूसरा होगा. They are all 3 different tracks.
Yeah.
It is quite possible that a particular project may have parallel 3 next actions.
Mhm.
So you may choose to put all the 3 also, provided they are parallel, not one dependent on the other.
Okay.
But sometimes what happens by putting all of them, you don't get started on anyone.
Mhm.
So that's why I said complete the decision right now. Ek dalo, then you will come to know one by one.
Okay.
Welcome. All right. So complete this 2 items for each of you and type in done when you're done. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Once you're done. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Jayesh.
Yes, sir. Sir, if project is only if there are more than 2 tasks or multiple actions required, then only it becomes project. But certain things we have in mind, like I have to apply for particular quality council certificate, or I have to apply for NABH. It's a ongoing process. This goes on for 6 months.
Yeah, but there will be a project at the end of the 6 months, no? You're going to apply right now. At the end of 6 months, you'll get something, right?
Yes, sir.
That becomes the project.
That becomes the project. The project becomes application of NABH, or
rather, I would say getting the NABH certificate, right?
yes, sir.
Not just making the application, one step beyond that.
So getting NABH certificate becomes a project.
Correct.
And then the multiple items comes in mind. Hire a consultant for the same.
Only the first one done.
Only first one.
If you're hiring a consultant, if that is your first step, then also ask yourself, what is the next action for me to hire the consultant? Abhi kya karenge?
Correct.
Hiring a consultant is not a next action.
It is not next action.
It is somewhere in between.
तो ये हमें कैसे लिखना चाहिए, क्या कैसे सोचना चाहिए?
So ask yourself, let me take you through that right now.
Okay,
in order
sir.
to hire a consultant, what is it that you have to do?
Ask other hospitals how they have managed, or whether they were satisfied with the particular consultant.
Very good. So to ask other hospitals, It is still vague. Which hospital and who are you going to ask?
So we have to identify 2 hospitals or 2 friends whom we can ask.
Very good.
Okay. Right.
So that becomes the next action. And if you have 2 people you're going to ask, then there'll be 2 next actions.
Right, sir. Correct.
Ask Ashish for so and so. Ask Abhishek for so and so.
Right, sir. So this
So-
becomes next action.
2 parallel next actions which are not dependent on each other.
And this next action, many times we have noted down that we are supposed to do this or we are supposed to call so and so. But eventually we forget that we haven't called it.
वो अभी देखेंगे.
वो उसके next step में आएगा.
Yeah.
अरे एक क्वेश्चन था, अगर दो नेक्स्ट एक्शन पैरेलल है और दोनों का आउटकम अलग है, एक का डेलीगेट है और एक का डू इट योरसेल्फ है, तो वो चलता है सर?
चलता है.
ठीक है.
Okay. Good. The questions. Good. We learn more from the questions also, and we also learn from each other's questions. Okay, if you're done, type in done. And if you're done while others are still doing, you can take up 1 or 2 more items from your mind sweep while we wait. Okay, good. 3 of you are done. If you're done, you can continue with some more items. Then you can ask questions. Anything comes to your mind, feel free to ask before we move to the next one.
Yes, sir. Like if we don't know exactly what is the next course of action, then
Wonderful. Now give me an example.
like we want to appoint a CA for our Kolkata office. So that was on my top list. So I need to appoint the CA, but there are various sources like we can approach. We have separate list internally as well as we can approach. We can give advertisement on LinkedIn. We can search other Naukri.com, and we have various sources. So there are many options. So how to decide on the action then?
So
Which one we will go?
Make a decision which one you would want to start with first. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इतने सारे ऑप्शन पे तो एक भी नहीं किया.
Okay.
ऐसा होता है. A classic reason for procrastinating is having too many options.
Yes.
So decide, pick any one. You don't have to do all the options.
Okay.
Or even if you decide to do all the options, कहीं तो आप शुरू करोगे ना. So which one would you
first approach करेंगे उसी को note, जो first approach करेंगे उसी को note down कर ले.
हाँ, so which one would you like to take right now? If you
our internal list.
Internal list, you have the list ready?
Which yes, that we get in our internal groups, CA groups we have. So we can approach those list.
Do you have the updated list already?
Yes, we have. Yes, I have.
Okay. So with that list, what is the first thing that you're going to do?
I'll have to just sit with the list and start sorting on the basis of our criteria. What is our requirement?
You have the criteria?
Yes, we have the job description we have.
Very
so
good.
Accordingly, we'll have to.
Good. So your next action will be sort the internal list based on the criteria.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Clear? Now you have something actionable. There you go. All right. Everyone done with at least 2?
So while I was writing, I felt that the very fact that we write the project and not the actionables is the reason why the project doesn't start at all.
Come again? Exactly. The way we are tracking it usually in our to-do, like hire F&B consultant or controller. It is so huge, so overwhelming that it's not telling you what to do.
Right.
So there are a lot of things you will realize in GTD. It is not just simply about doing something different. It's about thinking differently. When you start practicing GTD regularly, you will see yourself asking this question on the go. Anything that comes to you, कोई भी आके कोई problem बताएगा, ये है वो है, you will ask yourself, what is the next action? शुरू कहां से करना है? either you will ask to that person or you will start clarifying that in your mind. That is the idea. When you get to that level, then no matter how long your to-do list is, even if it could be long, 200 items or 400 items or 500 items or, each of those items will be granular, doable, specific things. Not at the equivalent of higher F&B controller, but at the equivalent of the specific action.
So this has been on my bucket list more than 6 months.
Now it will get moving. Great. All right. So you are experiencing the difference between the way the clarify step is working? Yes, everyone? Clarify is the heart of the process of GTD. The power of this step of clarify is that the next action tells you what doing looks like, and the project tells you what done looks like. When you get started, what doing looks like, that is the next action, and what that done, final thing done from your head, gone, ticked off, what that looks like, that is the project. So there are a few best practices in Clarify, and that is, let me share the screen. Decide what is actionable and what is not. Clarify all desired outcomes and projects, and identify the next actions. And this clarity itself gives you a thrust to move forward. You would have realized the way you've written the next actions, now they are now becoming suddenly more doable tasks. Whether it is a chunk of digital courses to do from, or hiring someone, or anything, you can just chunk it. Okay, we'll move forward. Organize. Now you must be wondering your next action. Yeah, you were asking something. Good. Very good. हाँ, अभी देखते हैं कैसे उसको ब्रेक डाउन करने का. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now let's move on to organize. Whatever you have figured out as next action project, where will you track it? How will you track it? And there are multiple things. Yesterday I told you that a typical busy human being will have at least 75 to 200 items as next action. I told you yesterday I have items in the Mindsweep, but assuming all Mindsweep actions are actionable, there will be so many next actions too, isn't it? So how to track that? Let's see how Rosa is learning about organize, and then we'll take it forward.
Nice, Rosa. Your clarity and control are improving. You're deciding what stuff means and parking the results into appropriate categories. Now let's get more specific about how to get organized. Take those campaign numbers from earlier. They need to be entered into your report, so put it on your next actions list. Assign the action a clear name that includes a physical verb. This gives it concrete definition. So campaign numbers wouldn't be a next action. Enter Q3 results into the campaign report is. It lets you know exactly what needs to be done and where. A memo about a client meeting. This goes on your calendar. Wait, calendar? That's right. A calendar is a list. It's a list of things that happen at a specific time or on that specific day. Things that land on your calendar are what you need to know and do specific to that day. Uh-oh, here's an email about a problem with your most recent print ad. You need to talk with your boss about that, but your boss is out. So it goes on an agenda list for her. You can bring it up the next time you have her attention. Here's a note that you wrote for yourself, saying Andrew needs to review a script. When you're waiting for other people's work to do your own, you use your waiting for list. How you organize should only be as complex as you need it to be. Your other lists, like your projects list and someday maybe, have become really important too. But these 4 action categories, organized in lists, provide a great start. See, a bit of organization leads to a lot more control. Feels good, right?
So clarify whatever you clarified as next action and projects. Now we will organize it. As you follow the entire flow of the 5-step system, you will realize that clarify and organize actually happen together. You will pick up each and every item from the capture. You will clarify it the way you did right now, and immediately each and every item which is clarified, you will organize it one at a time as clarified. The difference is that clarify is the heart of the process. Clarify is the mental processing, that taking a decision. What is that immediate next action? What is the final outcome? And organize is the physical parking into the right buckets, into the right kind of list in a way that will remind you at the right time, at the right place. It is here in organize that we start creating those front doors where you would be reminded at the right time, at the right place to do the thing. Now there are several apps for organizing. Here some of the icons are there. Yet out of all the several apps, there is only one app which is the best for organize. Which one is that? Any thoughts?
Physical.
Physical? Any other thoughts? OneNote?
OneNote is good.
Okay.
Drive maybe.
So this is a catch question, a trick question. It is true that there is only one app which is the best app, and that app is the one which works best for you. If you are comfortable with OneNote, fine, do that. If you're comfortable with physical, fine, do that. If when we do on day 4, when we do to do, you might find yourself getting comfortable with that. Perfectly fine. Outlook is also perfectly fine. The good news is that there are almost 300 apps and tools which are designed based on GTD methodology. But bad news is that there are almost 300 apps and tools which are designed on the GTD methodology. The point here is that don't get lost in picking out and searching for that right tool. Any tool is workable. It's not about which tool you use. It's about how you use the tool. And how you use the tool is as simple as ensuring that your tool should contain 4 primary lists. The first and foremost, there should be a list of all the projects. Now, when you clarified, let's say you have 50 items in your mind sweep, and you have clarified the project for each of them. All those 50 projects would go in one project list. The exercise that we did earlier in your workbook, where you were thinking, that's actually a thinking exercise. You don't do it with pen and paper. You just follow the flow. What is it? Is it actionable? What is the next action? What is the desired outcome? And when you arrive at the desired outcome, that all the desired outcome will go in your list of projects. While you have a list of projects, you will also have a list of next actions. Everything that you can do, that you are deferring. See, what you do is also next action, but the ones that you're doing, that will not be tracked in a next action list. वो तो कर दिया ना, हो गया. Whatever you decide to defer, that will be tracked in a next action list. So if you have so many projects, so many Mindcube items, there'll be so many next actions also. Some of the next actions will be such which will be delegated. They will go in a list called waiting for list. And you will maintain your waiting for list in a simple format which says waiting for who, regarding what, since when. I'm typing this format in the chat box here. Waiting for who, regarding what, since when. So it could be like, waiting for Ankur regarding approval of the proposal. Let's say Ankur is my client and I've sent the proposal. Now he has to revert to me. So waiting for Ankur regarding approval of proposal. Since 20th August, I had sent him the proposal. So I will track the date when the proposal was sent. If I have a deadline to it for me to know when to follow up, I can even track that as a separate field. Due when. If I've told a team member to do something, waiting for so-and-so to send me the report since 22nd August, due on 25th August. I can add other things, other frills to it. The key thing is tracking who are you waiting for and since when. Now, this is a very, very important aspect of the GTD methodology. It is so crucial that most people at the senior level, the challenge that they face is that they are very good in delegating, but they are not good in tracking what they have delegated. After having delegated, they don't remember kisko kya diya tha karne ko. And then till, let's say I have that customer escalation, I'm asking my colleague to send it to me. And colleague has forgotten. Maybe forgotten. Even I forget it. And the customer sends that reminder. You remember, I had asked that colleague, he has not come back to me. Let me check. And then you go on a last minute hustle bustle. The idea is that anything and everything, the moment you delegate it, the moment the ball is in somebody else's court, you put it in a list called waiting for. Completely right of waiting for. Exactly, right? Complete list, complete waiting for. In fact, when I was in the corporate world, even if a colleague told me at the coffee machine in the break, I will do it, I will send this to you. Turant, it would go in my waiting for list. This person has told me to do it, whether there is a written evidence of it or not. I know I have to track it. So I know very clearly कि क्या usse pending hai. In apps and tools, you can even maybe sort it by who you are waiting for and what all. You'll know kisse kya baki hai. All of that you can figure out. So that is the third list. The fourth list is a calendar. Now let me explain what is to be done in calendar. Many people use a calendar to block time. Typically in the beginning of the week, they will say all these things I want to do on a Monday. So Monday is blocked with all my to-dos. Then comes Monday with its own challenges and own urgencies. उसमें से आधा हुआ आधा नहीं हुआ ज्यादा तो हुआ ही नहीं तो automatically things shift from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday and so on. This is not what we do with the calendar in GTD. Remember one thing, your calendar is not a wish list. Your calendar will contain only those things which are time specific and day specific. All those things which are to be done, which can be done at any given point of time, which is not day specific and time specific, and which that even if you block a day or time, something else urgency comes up, you are going to shift it. It's very natural. All those things will not go on calendar. All those things will go on next action list. Only those things which are committed in terms of time and day will go on the calendar. Here is an example, 10 to 3 p.m. on Monday, there is a staff meeting in the boardroom, calendar mein block kiya. A customer has said that they are going to meet you, you block it on the calendar with a specific time. You tell somebody, okay, I'll call you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. There it goes in the calendar, 10 o'clock, Thursday morning, blocked. Anything that is time specific, day specific, So 3 kinds of things can go in the calendar. One is a time specific action. Customer has said, call me at 10 o'clock tomorrow. You will put on the calendar, 10 o'clock, so and so customer, call. If this goes on your next action list, it means it can be done anytime. So it's not there, it will go here. You will not duplicate in both the places. If it is something that can be done at a given time, it will only go on the calendar 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Second type of thing which will go on the calendar is a day specific action. Customer says, you call me tomorrow, but he's not given a time, which means you can call him tomorrow anytime. That will go on the calendar. It can go as an all-day event on top, or you may choose to block some time as per your convenience, but ideally block as the all-day event, so you know that any given time you have to do it. So that happens on that specific day. The third type of thing that goes on the calendar is a day-specific information. Not an action, an information that I need to be aware of. For example, here it says Susan out of office. So if there is anything that requires my discussion or presence of Susan, I know that Susan is not going to be available on that day. There is going to be a transport strike on next Monday. So take Monday pe dal diya. Let's say I come to know that my accountant is on leave on next Thursday. Karna kuch nahi hai. I have no work with accountant, but let me put it on the calendar as an information. What will happen as a result of that? If I am discussing with my vendor and vendor says I want to send my accounts person for a accounts reconciliation, you are aware in your calendar that your accountant is on leave. So you know when you're doing the scheduling, arey, don't come on Thursday, baki koi bhi din chalega. Or if it is your friend's birthday, day specific information. Whether I make that call to greet him or no, that is a different thing. But I'm putting that day specific information. So to sum up, 3 kinds of things go in the calendar. One is time specific action. Second is time specific, day specific action. And third is day specific information. So these are the 4 types of list. Now, one more thing, and this is very important. Let's say I have 100 items in my mind sweep. Out of them, some of them are to be done by other people, so they will go in waiting for. Some of them are to be done by me, but at a specific time, so that will go in the calendar. Everything else will go in the next action. Are we clear on this? Ankur, info can go on the calendar. Yes, that is fine. Who is there, who is not there, birthday, all that can go in the calendar. All reminders can go there. Are we clear on this? If there are multiple items in my mind sweep, few of them will go on the calendar, few of them will go on waiting for, but a large chunk of them are likely to be in next actions. Isn't it? Because most of them I have to do. Ball is in my court, I have to do it. So out of 100 things in my mind sweep, probably almost 80 to 90 things will be my next actions. And then when I look at my next action list, it's a list of very granular, long list of things that I have to do. Again, that will create a lot of overwhelm. Kahan se shuru kare? So many things. One of you even asked me, right? There are so many things, but what to do about it? Now, these long list of things that you have to do, some of those things you can do only when you are with your computer. Not otherwise. Some of those things you can do only when you are in the boundaries of your house. Not otherwise. Some of those things you can do only when you are having a phone with you, when you can make a call. Not otherwise. Some of those things you can do only when you are outdoors, neither at office nor at home, like maybe buying some battery or picking up groceries. Not otherwise. Some of the things you can do only when you are in office, not otherwise. But when you see a complete list of 80 to 90 things having everything there, that list entirely is telling you more things that you cannot do in that moment right now than the things that you can do. I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, right? So what to do? Break up your next action list by categories. These categories in GTD are called context. So you are not creating new multiple lists over here. What you're doing is you already have a action list, next action list that you have created when you clarified. All you're doing is adding a context to it. Is it calls? Is it computer? Here are some examples which are there in your workbook as well. Calls, computer, office, home, errands, anywhere. Agenda is people, like I said, I want to discuss with wife, that will go in agenda for wife. I have a particular team member with whom I need to discuss, a partner who I want to discuss with. So agenda for partner A, agenda for partner B, agenda for my CFO, agenda for, so which means that whenever I am face to face with the person, I will have these points to discuss. Any other agenda, waiting for list we've already discussed. All these are examples of context. Now contexts are something that are completely customizable. You create your own context. Let's say you have multiple offices. You have a branch office, you have a factory, you have a warehouse. There can be multiple contexts. So you know that there is something you have to do only at branch office. You can't do it when you are at the head office. So don't put it in a common head office. It will be at branch office. All you have to do is when you are at the branch office, you have to see it, which we will talk about tomorrow in Reflect and Engage. How to see when you are in that context, reflect, reviewing that, and then taking action accordingly. But this is where your lengthy next action list gets chunked down to size to tell you what to do where. The idea is when you are in that specific location, when you are in that specific context, only then you will look up on that list and you will operate from there. Can we take 5 minutes more? Are you all okay with that? Yeah. Where to put defer items? These are defer items only, Ankur. Whatever we are saying next action are defer items. So, no, do, defer, delegate. Do you don't write anywhere. Whatever you defer is coming over here. And what you delegate, once you delegate, goes into waiting for. So here are some examples of live systems which are there. People who have been using GTD. This is an example of a tool called OmniFocus. You see there are these categories, anywhere, errands, they are called as context. And in that, you blow up each of them. Let's say Mac email is there. So all emails I want to send, I can put it into one. So some people, instead of putting just computer, they prefer to say computer, offline, computer, online, computer, email, which is what is happening over here. Mac email, Mac online. Up to you. People is basically the agenda which I discussed. Agenda for John, agenda for David, waiting for. Here you are seeing one more category called someday maybe. Someday maybe is the bucket list that you are incubating. Is it actionable? If the answer is no, and if you are incubating it, it will go to someday maybe. Here is another example. This is from Outlook. You have all the categories in Outlook task. And then you expand the category. Let's say this computer has 9 items. These are the 9 items in front of you over here. Look online for new car options, research flight for Ireland, and so on. All the things that can be done at the computer are here. You are basically chunking down the list in various contexts so that when you are in the context, you end up doing only that. This is Evernote or OneNote. Similar categories you can create and you can operate from there. Then no need of super fantastic or fascinating apps. Simple spreadsheet is also fine as long as you create separate tabs or separate filter is possible. In fact, when I was in my corporate life, I used to use Excel. Tabhi I didn't know much about the apps which are there, and in those days, not too many apps were also there. I used to use simple Excel. And like I told you, if someone would tell me even in the coffee break, I'll do this for you, it would go on the waiting for. And every morning I have to send screenshots of my waiting for from Excel to each person. Yesterday, some of you were discussing in challenges that main to theek ho jaunga, I'll understand the productivity, but what about my team? What about my colleagues? When they see you practicing this productivity tool so efficiently, they automatically start falling in line. They know that you mean business. They know that if they have told you something, they have to stand committed to it because you are tracking it. Here, you are creating the discipline by example. By walking the talk. They will see, अच्छा है, ऐसा track करते हो, मुझे भी बताओ. So simple, Excel karo, or even paper and pen. Nothing wrong in that. As long as you may have a diary with different sections, different pages for each context, you're done. No fancy tool is needed. Having said that, on Friday, we are going to explore a tool which is Microsoft To Do. Yes, a brilliant tool to follow up delegated work. Any tool for that matter, whether it's OneNote or even paper and pen, it helps you to follow up whatever is delegated and keep a track of it. So these are some of the examples. Now, some of the best practices when it comes to organize. When you write your next action, make sure you start with a verb. This is there in your PDF as well. When you start with a verb, very, very specific: call, buy, review, visit, email, talk to so-and-so, look into so-and-so, gather, measure, waiting for, etc. They are specific granular verbs. When you write the project, also start with a verb and action having done: resolve, finalize, set up, look into, organize, reorganize, publish, complete, install, roll out, design, update, whatever is specific that tells you that it is done. Now, your homework for today is that you take every item from your mind sweep and you clarify it. For example, earlier what you clarified, 2 items. You came to the next action and you came to the project. Whatever next action you arrived at, ask yourself, which context would I like to put in? Where do I want to be reminded of it? When I'm with my phone, when I'm with my computer, when I'm at home, when I'm at office, when I'm running errands. Errands for the matter is what is outside, neither office nor home. When I'm with someone particular, or is it waiting for? And that is what you will write next to your clarify, and you will put it in that category in your notebook, in your workbook. You can even do it on your separate notebook. So you will write it as an actionable over here. Each next action. Okay, it could be anywhere. It will be in one of these places. Don't duplicate, don't put it in multiple places. The flow will be somewhat like this. Look at this over here. You have a mind sweep. Let's take this example. First one, staffing situation. Iska project is install a new department organization chart that goes in projects. And uske samne uska next action is email Andrea, which is there in under computer. Clarify and organize both. Do it, start getting a hang of it. Tomorrow we'll discuss further, and day after we are going to do it all into your to-do. Right now, do it over here is just to get a hang of how it works. Right now, get Hawaii tickets. Maybe the project is finalize Hawaii trip. And the next action is travel agent for Hawaii, call travel agent. So that will be under call. So your projects will all go in one place for projects, but your next actions will go in different contexts, depending on where it's going to happen. Okay. So just to reiterate a few concepts very quickly, project is a multi-step outcome, and the project verbs will indicate states of completion and resolution. Next action is the very next physical visible that will take the situation forward. The next action verb will be more direct, physical, visible actions. And this is what we saw. And someday maybe is what you incubate. When we go through the clarify, when we say, is it actionable? The answer is a maybe. I don't know whether I'll do it. I don't know when I will do it. Someday I may do it. So it's a category used to organize projects and actions one is committed to review only for potential action at a later date. ये भारी भरकम jargon छोड़ो. In simple terms, someday maybe is a bucket list. Someday maybe could be places to visit, could be courses to take, could be books to read, a list of things that was in my action in my bucket list. Someday I will do it. Someday I will go and visit Iceland. Someday I will do bungee jumping. Someday I will learn martial arts. Whatever it is. Yeah, Ankit, sorry, you were asking something?
Yeah, I was saying this is same as incubation, right?
Incubate, exactly. What you incubate will go into someday maybe. Exactly. Perfect. All right. So sorry to overshoot the time, but we can stop over here, and I urge you to do this and share your experience. Even if you think you don't have time to do clarify and organize of your entire mind suite, let that not stop you from doing at least 10-15 items. Get started, do it. Tomorrow we'll review what you did, more about the experience, about how you are feeling as you're doing it. And then we'll see what exactly do you do after doing it. How is it going to take you into action? Do it. Yeah, तो too huge का फिक्र मत करो, शुरू करो. जितना हो सकता है उतना करो, लेकिन करो.
Thank you
I would
so
say
much.
set aside around half an hour. I guess between now till tomorrow 3 p.m. we can all find in half an hour. Half an hour में जितना भी clarify organize होता है उतना करो. ठीक है? Can we all commit to that? Because then you'll get the real value about what we are doing tomorrow. Super. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. See you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Bye.
you.
See you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.